Hi guys, and thanks for joining. In this tutorial, I'm going to take you step by step into making a landing page for a wedding couple that's just getting married. So first things first, I'm gonna drop inside of here a heading, and I'm gonna write the couple's name, Bella and Josh, and we'll make that bigger by going to the Style tab and typography and drag this out. Great. Next thing, I'm going to add a subtitle with the date of the wedding, and we'll use the text editor for that. Drag and drop. And right here, I can write the date of the wedding. Super. Next thing I'm going to do is style again and typography again. And we'll make that a bit bigger. Great, 26 is good. Next thing, I'm going to add a separator. Now, Elementor comes with a divider, which is sort of a line. And I want something a bit specialer. So I'm using unlimited elements, and I've installed some separators, some unique separators. There's a lot more, but these are the ones that I've installed for the demo right now. And the one I'm going to use is the diamond separator. You can see it over here. It's not something too unique, but it still gives a special kind of look. I'm gonna align it to the left, and I think I'll make it wider. Something like 120. Cool, this is looking good. Next thing I want to do is add a button. We can use the regular Elementor button. So drag, drop, and the button is over here. I want to make it a bit bigger. So I'm gonna change the size to large. Cool. And let's change the text to RSVP, and let's change the background color to black. Perfect. Now I want to change the hover. To change the hover, we click on the hover state, and we'll change the background to pink on hover. Perfect. Next thing I want to do is I want to get rid of these rounded corners. So in border radius, I'm going to take the lock off, and now the corners are straight. I do also want to add a background image over here. So let's right click, edit section, style, classic, and I'm going to choose a background image. Cool, this is looking good. And I do want to add some padding on top and bottom, since the text and the button are too adjacent to the edges. So in advanced, I'm gonna unlock the padding, and I'm going to add 200 pixels from top and bottom. Another thing you might want to do with the background image is change the size to cover. The reason you do this is if the image will be smaller than the screen size, we still want it to cover the whole screen. Next part, I'm going to add a title, and the title will be Meet the Happy Couple. So widgets, heading, drag, center, style, typography, and let's decide that all these titles are going to be 54, and I'm going to change that to Meet the Happy Couple. Perfect. Color to pink, and I am going to add a subtitle. In the subtitle, I'm going to say get to know them even better. So for subtitles, we're using the text editor, and we can write here get to know them even better. Perfect. Style, align to center, typography. Let's go for 18. And underneath, I'm going to add another separator. This time it's going to be a different one. I'm going for the Victorian one. Perfect. And the reason why I prefer to use these rather than images is that you can edit the color and they will always stay crisp and vector. This is using an SVG right now. Next part, I want split into 2 columns, but I don't want to open a new section. So for this, we're going to use an inner section. That's what it's for. And we have opened 2 columns. One column will have this cool image hover effect, again using unlimited elements. So the one I'm going to use is image content box. Let's drag it in and see how it looks. First things first, we're going to change the image. And I'm going to write in the title, the groom. Let's change the background to black. And the icon we can change to a heart icon. Perfect. Next thing, I'm going to add some text on the left with his name. So let's take this subtitle, copy and paste. And let's take also the main title, copy and paste. And over here, I'm going to write he asked. And over here, we'll write his name. So his name is Josh Bartley. Perfect. And between these two, I want our diamond separator. Let's copy and paste and center that out to fit our layout. Great, this is looking good. Let's change this to black by going to style, text color, and choosing black. I want to center everything that's going on here to this image. So we click once on the column over here. As you can see, edit column, and in vertical align, I can set that to middle. Cool, this is looking good. Now what I'm going to want to duplicate is these 2 columns, meaning this whole blue section. So if I was to stand here and click on duplicate, that would duplicate only this column inside of the section. But what I want to do is duplicate the whole section and make another part for the bride. So I'm going to stand on the blue part and click duplicate. Over here, I want to change the image to be on the left and the text to be on the right. So with drag and drop, we can change that. And let's start off by changing the data in the left column. So instead of the groom, we're going to write the bride. And we'll say she said yes. And her name, I think, was Bella. And I think this is looking almost perfect, except for the fact that these 2 corners aren't touching, and what I want to do is make them touch. Now, the reason they're not touching is that by default, the column has something like 10 pixels padding. So I'm going to click on the column, edit column, go to advanced and unlock the padding. Once we unlock the padding changes to 0. Same thing we're going to do with the groom. Edit column, advanced, and unlock the padding. Perfect. This layout is looking good. The only thing we need to change is add some padding to the section. I always say something between 100 and 200 pixels is great. Cool. We're ready for the next part. I suggest always making an overview of what you did till now before you start the next part. So to make sure we have enough spacing and contrast between sections. Cool. And the next part is going to be a video teaser. So over here, we can add a couple of things. There are going to be about 3 widgets, I think. The first widget is a play button, again from Unlimited Elements. What it adds is like a play button that when you click on it, it opens a fancy box with a YouTube or Vimeo video. Over here you put the code of the video, and right now it's just going to play a default video since this website is just for demonstration purposes. I want to align this button to the left, so let's use align left. And under that, I want a subtitle, also aligned to the left, and a title. So I'm starting to use copy paste for all the subtitles and titles, so they are the same size and we don't need to select a specific size for each one. Good UI UX is having a consistent 5-4 fonts, not more than that. Okay, watch our best memories. Or best moments. Cool. And over here we'll write our story. I think I'll make this pink. So style, text color, and pink. No, I didn't want that pink. I want this one pink. So text color, pink. Let's add a background image for the section in style, classic, select, and this is the image. And we don't see too much of it, so we're going to need to add padding, of course. Advanced padding, and I'm going to add 200 pixels from top and bottom. This we can change back to white, so there will be a little bit of contrast between the subtitle and the title. Style, text color, white. Another tip I can give you to make this section a bit more unique is in the image background. I'm gonna, again, it's very important to use size cover when having background images, and I'm going to add like a type of parallax effect by selecting attachment fixed. What this will do is will make the background fixed and the section is sort of cropping it differently depending on where you're scrolling in the page. Perfect. Next part is going to be a timer, or let's do I think before the timer we're going to do an RSVP form. This part will be split into 2 columns. So to split into 2 columns, we're clicking plus and selecting the structure of the section. Let's add some padding before we add any widgets so it won't be so adjacent to the section we just did. 100, 100, and let's drag inside a form. You can use the search to search for the word form. This is part of Elementor Pro. Over here I'm not going to change much, but of course you can make any fields you want. The only 2 changes I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to change the button to black and on hover to pink like we did before. And I'm going to, in advanced, add some padding because I don't want it to be so wide. It doesn't need to be so wide. So let's add something like 50 pixels on the right and on the left. Maybe we can do a bit more. Okay, I think that's looking good. And on the left part, I'm going to add some text. The text is going to be RSVP, you're invited, or something like that. So let's go for a big heading. Actually, we can copy this whole section, I think. Let's try to copy this whole section and paste. And we can delete this column. Sorry, I was saying section. It's not a section, it's a column. Great, so right now we have 2 columns like I wanted. This column, I'm going to add a pink background color. And I'm going to change the arrangement here a little bit. The first thing I want is the diamond separator. And the next thing I want is the big title. So we need to find that over here. And I also want to add a Victorian separator at the end. Let's find that. Perfect. That was what I was looking for. I'm going to change all these to white. 1, style, color, white. Again, the same thing. And let's change this one to white as well. Perfect. RSVP. And over here, let's say you're invited or something like that. Cool, this is looking good. And let's make a quick overview of what we have till now. And we can start the next part. The next part is going to be very simple. It's going to be a countdown that's counting down to the wedding itself. So first thing first, I'm going to try to find a countdown. And let's take this one, drag it inside. Great. And above that, I'm going to add a title. Let's make the background over here black. So we have some, we don't want an image. We want a color black. Perfect. And I'm going to add a title, a subtitle, and a separator. So title. We don't see anything since it's black on black. So first thing is first, let's change that to pink. Let's change the text to the big day. In content, we can center that. In style, we can make the font bigger. And let's copy some subtitle for somewhere. Let's take this size. The reason I'm copying is since I don't want to select the font size each time. So this is looking good. In style, we can center. And I'll leave the date again over here. I think that's important if it's going to be next to the counter. And just let's change the text color to white and add this separator by copy and paste. Last thing, adding some padding by advanced, unlocking the padding and adding 100 pixels from top and bottom. Quick overview, and we can continue to the next section. The next section is going to be using maps, and we're going to have 2 maps, a reception and a wedding party. So let's see how we do it. First thing, we're going to add a title. Center that, style, text color pink, typography 54. Under that, I'm going to use a new type of separator, also part of unlimited elements, which is called line text divider. This is just another unique kind of type of divider. Some of you might like it, some of you might not. Everything is cool. A lot of people ask me, like, why does unlimited elements have 700 types of add-ons? Why do you need 700? So the idea behind that is that we want to make it sort of like a Shutterstock of add-ons. What that means is that if you download another third-party add-on that, like for a pricing table, they have like 10 styles. And what we thought is that that's not enough, because the internet is limitless and unlimited, and there are unlimited types of styles and layouts. If you search for a pricing table in Shutterstock, you're not limited. You're gonna get millions of images, and that's what we want to create with our framework, so it won't be so limited. Next thing, edit section, advanced, add some padding on top and on the bottom. We can space this a little bit by adding some padding bottom, 30 pixels. Perfect. Cool. Next part, we're going to add an intersection. And in the intersection on the right side, there's going to be a map. And of course, you can search for the exact location and stuff like that. Maybe change the height a little bit. Maybe style a little bit. CSS filters. We can go for, maybe make it, let's make it almost, you can play around with this. Okay, now it's kind of pinkish and bluish, kind of wedding style, and I think that's looking good. And on the left side, what we're going to need is, first of all, the title, which is going to be reception, black, and a small separator. Let's just add it from the widgets. And make it pink. And under that, we're going to add like the exact address and time and whatever you want. It's going to be like 3 lines of text. I'm not going to do it now. This is just for example purposes. Perfect. Let's align it to the center. And I think we're going to add another button that's going to be for the directions, that will open maybe Waze or something like that. Center, style, take off border radius, background color pink, and I want it on the hover to be black. Perfect. And in the content, I'm going to write get directions. Cool. Over here in the column, let's vertical align to middle. Duplicate the whole section by standing on the blue part. Duplicate, and again, we want to swap between these two. And over here, we're going to write wedding party. Perfect. And again, we want these two to be touching, so we need to take off the padding, the default padding. Perfect. This is looking very, very good. We're almost done. I think we have only 2 sections left. And the next section is going to be instructions of how to get to the party. So let's add a title. How to get there. And a subtitle. (18 pixels big), and maybe a separator. Let's use this one. Copy and paste. This can be pink as well. I think that's about perfect. Cool. Under this, I'm going to add an inner section. And in the inner section, I want to make 2 columns of bullet points. For the bullet points, I'm going to use also unlimited elements. And let's see if I can find what I need. Great, these diamond ones. And again, you don't have to use this. It's just if you want something a little bit specialer and you don't know how to achieve it by yourself or using CSS. So this could be a good solution. So the first option will be by car, and we want the icon to be a car. The next one is going to be, let's say, by train. And let's try to duplicate this. Let's go for duplicate, and this is unnecessary now, so we can delete it. And what I want to do is I want to add a pink background. Okay, it will look kind of weird what I'm trying to do, but be patient. Okay, we'll add a pink background over here. Adjust the padding. In the middle part, which is this whole section, I'm going to add a white background. So style, background type, color, and white. Let's adjust the padding a little bit. Can give 100 from top, 100 from the bottom, and the sides can, maybe let's lock the 100 so it will be from all sides. I think this section can have a little bit more padding, so I'm gonna go for 200 and 200. So the frame looks good. Over here it's not gonna be by car and by car. It's going to be by I don't know how you write bicycle. Okay, I think I wrote that correctly. Now we'll know. Okay, yeah. Great. And the last option will be by plane, let's say. Perfect. So all guests from all around the world know how to get to the wedding. Okay, cool. Last part is just going to be like a sort of farewell. And we're going to say, hope to see you there. And yada yada yada. So let's use this section and paste it. I'm going to change okay, I think I'm gonna leave that the same way. We're just gonna write hope to see you there. And the date again. Let's copy the date. Where did we have it? Have it over here. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to change all of these to black and take off the pink background. Or maybe some will be black, and first of all we need to change them to black, and then after that, if we want something pink, we can change it again. Perfect. That's it. I think we're done. Don't forget to save and publish. And we're going to preview to see what we got. So what we got is the header, a little bit of info about the groom and the bride, a play button that can open a video, an RSVP form that guests can fill in and send to say, you can add all sorts of stuff here, like if you want to know who's vegan or not for dinner and stuff like that, or how many guests are coming. And over here we have a timer counting down to the big day. We have 2 maps for the reception and the wedding party itself, some instructions for people who want to come in all sorts of different ways, and bye. So that was a quick tutorial. Elementor, WordPress, and unlimited elements, of course, which is ours. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel to support us. And if you need anything or have any ideas, this is the place. So thank you for joining, and see you next time.